All right, welcome back. This video is for Learning Target 6, Day 2 of Learning Target 6. So starting on page 35. So if you have not actually watched the previous lesson, which is on page 31 through 34, you need to watch that lesson first before you do today's lesson, this lesson right now, because it will make a lot more sense if you do them in order. So go ahead and turn to page 35 then. So our learning target is we're going to write and graph equations in point-slope form. So pretty much we're reviewing what we did yesterday. This is day 2 of it. So all of page 35 is, again, a review from yesterday's lesson. And then when we move on to page 36, I'm going to show you how to use point-slope form and slope-intercept form in problem solving, word problems here. Okay? So let's go ahead and review our two forms that we know. So yesterday's new form that we were introduced to is point-slope form. You should recognize it. It's right here, y minus y1 equals m times the parentheses of x minus x1. The reason why it's called point slope form is because we know the m is the slope, and we know that the point is where our x1 and our y1 is. Okay, that is our point. And our point is always the x1 first and then the y1. You have to remember the order of an ordered pair. Okay? Slope-intercept form, remember these two are related. This is our y equals mx plus b. This is called slope-intercept form because our m here is our slope. So same as the m in the above form. Our b here is our y-intercept, hence called slope-intercept form. And then we have our ordered pair, our x, y ordered pair. Okay? So remember these two forms are related to each other. Okay? So let's go ahead and just practice what we learned yesterday. So our first practice question says this. There's a line that passes through the point 4, negative 3, and it has a slope of 2. Write an equation in point-slope form of the line. So we're going to write an equation in point-slope form. That is this form right here. So we know that our m is the 2, and we know that our ordered pair is the 4, negative 3. So using this form, I know I'm going to rewrite this as y minus, my y1 is our negative 3, equals, my m is the 2, parentheses, x minus, and my x1 is the 4. So notice I just use each one of these three numbers once, plugging in the right spots of m, x, and y. Okay? Let's clean this up. I know this is actually a y plus 3, and then equals 2, parentheses, x minus 4. So that is the answer to part A. Okay, and that is point slope form. Part B then says rewrite this equation so it's in slope-intercept form. So that would be our y equals mx plus b. So let's go ahead and rewrite this then. So I'm going to distribute. So 2 times x is 2 times x minus 2 times 4 is 8. Over here I have a y plus 3. I'm going to undo this plus 3 by subtracting 3. And I'm going to end up with y equals 2x. Now if I stop, chop this, I know that's negative 8. Negative 8 minus 3 is a negative 5. So in other words, our slope-intercept rewritten equation would be this equation, 2x. Oh, why did I put a 5? Something was confusing me here. Sorry. We're going to get negative 8 minus 3. That's actually a negative 11. Okay? And so I should be able to check this. If I plug in this ordered pair of 4, negative 3, if I put in a 4 for this x, it should equal negative 3 for the y. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus negative 11 is a negative 3. So, again, point slope, slope-intercept, very much so related together. Okay, let's practice graphing our equation. Well, remember in point slope form, we can gather the slope and we can gather a point. So, according to our information, I know my slope is 2/3. That would be the m part of our point slope form. And I know my ordered pair, my x is the 3 here. And I know my y is, it says plus 2, so remember we talked about this, I know this is a negative 2, because in the actual form, it's a y minus and y1. So in order for this to get to be a plus, I know it was y minus a negative 2. That's why I stopped chop chop to be a plus 2. Okay? Remember when we graph, we plot our first ordered pair, 3, negative 2. So 3, negative 2 is this pair right here, or this dot right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and count slope, which is rise 2, run 3. So rise 2, run 3. Backwards, down 2, backwards 3. We have enough dots that fit in our graph. Connect the dots. We just graphed this equation that we started with. Part B then says rewrite this equation in slope-intercept form so we can actually see if it matches. So let's go ahead and rewrite this. 2/3 times x is 2/3 times x minus 2/3 times 3, so I'm going to write it as 3 over 1. So 2 times 3, the two top numbers is 6. 3 times 1, two bottom numbers is 3. 6 over 3, so this is going to be a 2. And then we have a y plus 2 here. Subtract 2 from both sides. We're going to get y equals 2/3 x. I'm going to stop, chop, chop this. Negative 2 minus 2 is a plus negative 4. So let's go ahead and see if this matches. Does this graph have a slope-intercept, or sorry, a y-intercept of negative 4, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4? Yes, that checks. Does it have a slope of 2/3? Rise 2, run 3. Rise 2, run 3. So yes, you can see it matches. Remember, our point slope and our slope intercept, very much related. And last practice problem here. Write an equation in point slope form of the graph. So we have two ordered pairs here. So in other words, we're going to do this 2 different times. You're going to see that both answers are going to come out the same. So let's go ahead and calculate the m for both of these equations here because they're both going to be the same because from the same line. So rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. If you prefer using the slope formula, that's up to you. So it looks like our slope is 4 over 2, which is the same thing as 2. I'm going to do the same thing over here, 4 over 2, which is the same thing as 2. Okay? Equation 1, let's use our first ordered pair, 3, 1. Equation 2 is going to be using the other ordered pair, which is 1, negative 3. Okay, let's go ahead and write an equation in point slope form. So y minus my y equals my m, parentheses x minus my x. Okay, over here it's going to be different. Y minus my actual y, which is negative 3. So I know this stop, chop, chop, this is actually a plus 3, equals m, and x minus my x, which is a 1. Okay, and again, if you don't have this point slope form memorized, you can keep writing it out so you can keep matching the correct numbers here. Remember, these are the 3 numbers you're plugging in of what's given. Okay, and then what I want you to do, notice I have 2 different equations here because I use 2 different ordered pairs. However, when you rewrite this in slope-intercept form, they both should come out to be the same exact equation because they come from the same exact line. So let's rewrite our first one. Let's go ahead and solve for y here, where you write in y equals mx plus b. So 2 times x is 2 times x, minus 2 times 3, which is 6. And then I'm going to add 1 to both sides. I'm going to get y equals 2x. I'm going to stop, chop, chop this. This is a negative 6 plus 1, which is a negative 5. So this one comes out to be y equals 2x plus negative 5, which I can see is 0, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it does have y-intercept of negative 5. And it has a slope of 2. Rise 2 over 1. 2 over 1. Okay? This one. 2 times x is 2x. Minus 2 times 1 is 2. I have a y plus 3 over here. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. Y equals 2x, stop, chop, chop, negative 2, take away 3 is negative 5. So, again, both of these answers, they match. They should match because they come from the same line. So that's just a quick review on point slope form. Let's go ahead and take a look at some different kind of problems here. Page 36. Okay, we have 3 word problems here. And we're going to work through these, and we're going to figure out if point-slope form or slope-intercept form works best for these three problems. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do part A, B, and C with you on the first half of page 36, and then you're going to apply that same exact knowledge to the A, B, and C right down below on the bottom page of 36, and then check back here. Okay? All right, let's start with our first problem here then. First problem says, suppose you have $500 in your savings account. You save $25 each month. Write an equation in slope-intercept form that represents how much money you will have after X months. Now, because we want all of our equations always in slope-intercept form, okay, you're always going to make that key here that's going to help you out to figure out what's given, what do you need to find in order to write an equation. Okay, so let's start out with our three parts of y equals mx plus b, which is slope-intercept form. First question that asks is this: do we know the rate at which you're saving? Is there a rate given? Well, it says you're saving $25 each month. That sounds like a rate to me. That most likely is your m. That's your slope. So I know this is going to be 25. Do we know our b, which is our y-intercept, which is our beginning amount? Well, it says that suppose you have already $500 in your savings account. That is your beginning amount. So that's 500. So in other words, if we have our m and our b already, we don't actually care about an ordered pair anymore because we have enough information to write an equation. So our equation is in y equals mx plus b. Our equation is y equals 25x, my m is like 25, plus my b, which is 500. And we just wrote an equation in slope-intercept form that represents how much money you have after X months. So I know X is months because it's $25 per month, and I know Y is our savings amount. Okay? So we just answered that question right there. We wrote an equation in slope-intercept form. There's our final answer. That is the easiest type of question because there's not a lot of math involved. It's just be able to decipher between which one's the m, which one's the b. Second kind of problem. Let's take a look. You have some money in your savings account. Notice it doesn't tell you how much. You just have some money. You're going to add $25 each month to your account. By month 8, you have $700 in your account. How much money did you start with in your account? So let's go ahead and make our key here, our three parts of m, b, x, and y. And let's go ahead and see what's given to us and what we have to find. According to this problem, are we given a rate? Okay, does it tell us how much we're saving per month? Well, it does. You're adding $25 each month. So I know that this right here is my rate here. Okay, it's moving at $25 per month. Second, is my beginning amount given? Does it say you started with this much money? Well, it doesn't because it just says you have some money in your savings account, but it doesn't specifically tell you how much. So this right here is unknown. Third part, is there an ordered pair given to us? Okay, well, it does say by month 8 you have $700. Okay, so that is going to be our ordered pair. The month is going to be the x. You can see that the month is the x. And our money amount is $700. You have an ordered pair here. Your y is savings, 8 months, $700. Well, if you have your m, your x, and y, should you be able to find your b? Yes. We're going to have y equals mx plus b, and we're going to plug in our information in the right spots to find our b here. So let's go ahead and take a look. Our y here is 700. Our m here is 25. Our x here is times 8 plus b. So now we just have some math to do. 25 times 8 is 200. And then we're going to subtract 200. And we're going to end up with b equals 700 minus 200 is $500. So you know you started out, the b, the beginning amount, is $500. So in the end, the question was, how much money did you start with in your savings account? Well, that answer would be your B, your beginning amount, which is $500. Okay, you just answered that question. Now, what does this have to do with point-slope form? Okay, so this is one way to solve it. This is one method. I'm going to give you a second method to solve. If you decide that this is your preference on solving it this way, that is up to you. Okay, I'm just giving you a second way to be able to solve this. So how does point-slope form relate to this problem here? Here's point-slope form. Okay, now some people are going to choose point-slope form, and why do they choose point-slope form? Because what was given was a point and the slope. So if a point and a slope were given, remember B wasn't given before we actually solved for it, then why not use the point-slope form? So watch how I plug in these numbers here. I'm going to have y minus my y1, which was the 700, equals m, which was the 25, and then x minus my x1, which was the 8. Okay? Now this isn't going to help me find, this right here is not your answer. What we need to do is rewrite this in slope-intercept form so we actually can see what the beginning amount was. So we're going to go ahead and rewrite this. Distribute the property, 25 times x is 25x. 25 times 8 is 200. This side I still have the same thing. I'm going to add 700 to both sides. And I'm going to end up with y equals 25x, stop, chop, chop this, negative 200 plus 700 is 500. Now you need to be able to understand what this equation is telling you. You know that this is your m, that is your rate. We already knew that. You should know that this is your b, y equals mx plus b. This was your beginning amount. That's what we had calculated on this side as well, but we just used a different method to calculate the same exact answer. Okay, so in other words, we began with $500 and we're saving $25 a month. So two different methods. You just have to choose which method you prefer. If you like this old method of y equals mx plus b, stick with it. Okay, so in the end, final answer, how much money did you start with in your savings account? You started with $500. Okay, let's look at the last one. The last one involves the most work. Okay, the first one gave you the m and b, least amount of work. The second problem gave you the m in an ordered pair. You had to find your b. Let's take a look at the third one. Third one says this. You add the same amount of money to your savings each month. Okay, they didn't tell you how much. They're just telling you you're adding the same amount of money each month. In month 5, you have $625. In month 12, you have $800. How much money do you have by month 17? So let's go ahead and make our same key we've been making here. And let's go ahead and see what's given. Well, do we know a rate at which we're saving per month? Well, it says you're adding the same amount of money to your savings each month. It doesn't specifically tell you how much, so we don't know how much you're actually adding per month. Do we know how much we started with? Well, it doesn't say you have this much in your account to start with. Okay, so we don't know our beginning amount. However, do we have some ordered pairs? Well, yes, it says in month 5, you have $625. So I know that the x is month, because I'm referring back to this x is month. So I know in month 5, I have $625. So there's your first ordered pair. I also know in month 12, I have $800. So month 12, I have $800. So I have two ordered pairs here. If I have two ordered pairs, what should I be able to find? I should be able to calculate the slope because I have two ordered pairs here. So let's go ahead and calculate the slope then. So y1 minus y2, and then x1 minus x2. So 800 minus 625 is 175. 12 minus 5 is 7. 175 divided by 7 should equal 25. Okay, so I know my slope here is 25. Okay, well, if I have my m and I have an x and y, should I be able to find my b? Yes. Now this is where you get to choose your method. Do you want to use the y equals mx plus b method, or do you want to use the point slope method? It is basically up to you, okay? You get to pick what x and y you want to use. You want to use the first ordered pair or the second ordered pair. Now I'm going to stick with the new method. You can stick with the old method, okay, because this learning target is all about point slope form. So I'm going to stick with my y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1 method. And like I said, you can use this method. You have your m, you have your x, and you have your y. You can solve for b. So I'm going to go ahead, use this as my m, and I'm going to use this one as my ordered pair. So I'm going to get y minus, my y1 is 800, my m is 25, and my x is 12. Go ahead and do the math here. 25 times x is 25x. 25 times 12 is minus 300. I'm going to add 800 to both sides here. And I'm going to end up with y equals 25x. Stop, chop, chop. Negative 300 plus 800 is 500. So I have my equation. Okay? If you did this method, you would just find b to be 500. I can see my b as 500 because there's my b. There's my m. It's supposed to be 25. Now, have we actually answered our question that's being asked? It says, how much money do you have by month 17? Well, we haven't answered this question yet. We actually found an equation to help us answer this question. So if my equation is y equals 25x plus 500, I should be able to find then how much money I have at month 17. Okay, in order to make sure that your equation actually works before you try to figure out this answer, I would check your equation to make sure it works. If I plug in 5 months into my x here, do the math, this should come out to be 625, okay, from this ordered pair. If I plug in 12 months, do the math, 25 times 12 plus 500, this should come out to be 800. So if those two ordered pairs work, then I know I should be able to confidently answer this question. How much money do you have by month 17? So I would do y equals 25 times 17 months plus 500. And that should give us 25 times 17 is $425. And $425 added to the 500 you started with, by month 17, you will have $925. So in the end, final answer to this question is $925. So this kind of problem is going to require the most work because I only give you two ordered pairs. You have to actually find the m and the b. Okay? So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you pause this video. I want you to give part A, B, and C down below on page 36 a try. And then you're going to check back here by unpausing and check back at your answers here and ask any questions. All right, go ahead and pause away. All right, so you're checking back at your answers for the second part of page 36, A, B, and C. You can go ahead and take a look at the work, break it down, pause this video, ask any questions you don't understand, where did what part come from and whatnot. You're going to notice that part B here, I use the point slope form method. You might have used the other method, y equals mx plus b. In the end, you're going to get the same answer, which is 36,460. Okay? In part C, you're going to notice I use the other method, y equals mx plus b. You may have used the point slope. In the end, everybody gets the same answer no matter what method you used. So, pause, ask questions, and then you can go ahead and get started on your classwork then. Okay? And your classwork is on page 37 and 38. So, this stuff takes a lot of details, a lot of attention, a lot of focus to it. So, please make sure you're asking questions. Good luck.